It's on top of it. I get it.
Right here is good. Thank you. It's 6:06 on Tuesday, May 4th, 2021, and I hereby call this regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council to order. Could you please bow your heads? Let us pray for the residents of Diamondhead, elected officials, appointed members, and employees that are dedicated to working to secure a solvent future for Diamondhead. Please pray for our country and our leaders. Please pray for the sick and suffering. Please pray for our children and protect them. Please pray for the elderly and the lonely. Please pray for those who are lost that they may find peace with you. For this and all unspoken prayers, we ask for your blessing. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, Ms. Simone.
Roll call. Ward 1.
Here.
We'll note that Ward 2's out. Ward 3.
Present.
Ward 4.
Here.
At large.
Here.
Mayor.
Here.
Thank you.
Could I get a motion to confirm or adjust agenda? I will move to remove item 10 and table item 13. Could I get a motion to move as amended?
Move.
Could I get a second?
Second it.
Councilman Finley made the motion and Councilwoman Morgan seconded the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next regular scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held on May 18th, 2021 at 6 p.m. in Council Chambers, located at 5000 Diamondhead Circle. The Dog Park Day has been rescheduled to May 16th from 1 to 4 p.m. and it was rescheduled due to the rain we had last Sunday, so please try to get out. Now we'd like to introduce the City of Diamondhead's contestant in the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. Miss Ella, would you like to come up to the podium? This is Miss Ella Nolan. And I'm going to read a little bit about our contestant that we're excited to have represent the City of Diamondhead in the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. Miss Ella Nolan is the daughter of Janelle and Eric Nolan and the granddaughter of Dick and Betsy Nolan. She was selected as Coast Electric Powers Association Youth Tour Leadership Program and Scholarship and the Hancock County Youth Leadership Academy and the 8th Annual Palazzo Youth Leadership Summit. She'll be graduating from high school in 2021. She was inducted into Hancock High School's Hall of Fame, served as president and president of the Science National Honor Society, selected as secretary of Student Council, treasurer of Spanish National Honor Society, and freshman homecoming maid, and senior football homecoming maid. She was nominated as most talented in Hancock's Who's Who. She volunteers on numerous projects such as food drives, a local food pantry, the animal shelter, hazardous waste day with Coast Electric, environmental cleanups, Renew Our Rivers, and land trust for the Mississippi Coast Plains. During her summer, she works as a head counselor for 6 to 8-year-olds for the Seafood Maritime Museum and Sail Camp in Biloxi. She enjoys teaching children heritage, history, and science. She has been part of the Diamondhead family dating back to the 1970s. I love our city for many reasons: safety, activities, and the sense of community, and cannot imagine growing up anywhere else. Thank you, Miss Ella Nolan, for representing the city of Diamondhead and the Mississippi Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo, and we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Would you mind getting a picture? I'm going to add a little bit more about the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. Ella has been selected to sing the national anthem at the opening ceremonies of the Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo. So what a big honor for the city of Diamondhead as well as our contestant. The Deep Sea Fishing Rodeo contestants will be coming to the city of Diamondhead early on the morning of July 4th. So we're working on an event to get folks together up at the country club to welcome the contestants. They will be interviewed here in the city of Diamondhead at the country club, so we're excited about that as well. Now moving on, Councilman Finley is going to update us on construction material market.
Well, first of all, if you're in the lumber biz, or if you're in the market for lumber at the time, you've probably come to know that it's extremely high. Unprecedented rises in cost due to, beginning with COVID, you get a 25% decrease in the number of people that are able to work, mills shutting down for multiple reasons, and then people still have time to be home and start projects, and that snowballs, and then next thing you know, your demand is at a very elevated level. And unfortunately, this is not just on the Gulf Coast or nationwide. This is a worldwide thing. Container shipment issues. I mean, the Suez Canal was just another small drip in the bucket. But people always ask me, what is exactly driving it? There's so many things that we can't get into all of it, but everything that could go bad has. But I just want to remind everyone, I don't make the lumber, I just sell it. It's not my fault. But we do, lumber will print. There's a lumber composite, just like there is a stock composite, and it will reach its new record high tomorrow, and it will reach its high again Friday. It comes out twice a week. If I had to guess, I would say 6 to 8 months before it curtails. But if you've had to buy a sheet of simple plywood now, you realize it's $50 instead of $5, and it's really put a lot of pressure on our, not just from one-time homeowners, new homeowners, builders of all sizes, whether it be one house, spec houses. It's made it, it's been very difficult. I'm personally in the lumber business. I've been in it 25 years, and it's been the most trying time for the past year. But hopefully we can keep moving past it. Diamondhead is flourishing. Building is unprecedented, and hopefully we can keep this up. The only problem with the ultimate high prices, when people say a year and a half from now we have a inflation or deflation, you hope people can recoup that money. Praying for the builders and the people of Diamondhead.
Thank you, Councilman Finley. And feeding off that note, I was in one of the local restaurants yesterday eating lunch, and one of the owners wanted me to make sure to reach out to the community. And this goes hand in hand with the cost of building materials, but there are shortages in the restaurants on certain food items, and it's increasing daily. So we need to support our local restaurants here in Diamondhead. You know, reach out, eat before reaching out and going elsewhere. We need to support what we have here. You know, eat out here, support the restaurants, and if they don't have shrimp, it's okay if you eat roast beef that day. It's okay because there are shortages. Shrimp was one of the things. I saw one of them was out of pancakes the other day, one was out of beef. So these are going to be happening. It's going to get more and more frequent. So just be patient. Try something different on the menu. You may like it. And I'm just passing that on from the restaurant owners. Moving on, Mr. John Hall is going to give us an update on the residential real estate market here in Diamondhead.
Madam Mayor and council members, I'm John Hall. I'm with Coldwell Banker Alfonso. I've been a broker associate with them for 20 years. I live here in Diamondhead. The city manager, Mike Riso, asked me to give you a little presentation. Each month I send out an email to Mike and the all of you about the monthly sales that we have had. For the benefit of the audience, in April of this year we sold 45 properties, which is a lot. Single-family homes were 31, 9 condos, and 5 townhomes. And the price range for those were $45,000 to $400,000. The currently listed for sale, now this is a surpriser, 27 houses currently are listed for sale. Now that does not include Elliott Homes or any, it includes a few new construction. The 4 condos are listed and 1 townhouse. So my out-of-town buyer, I've got about 30 properties I can show them right now. There were times when Diamondhead had over 200 houses for sale. Remember those days. Currently under a pending status, and pending means that most of the conditions have been met as far as an appraisal or inspections, and are due to close in the next 30 days. That's 27 single family, 4 condo, and 1 townhouse. Currently under pending, continue to show. That would mean if I got an offer on it, conditions had not been met yet. We still have it open for other buyers. There are 26 that are pending, continue to show, 2 condos. So we've got a lot that's coming down the line to close. We don't have enough to sell, and that's the problem. A lot of it is, as Shane said, about cost of materials. Just some stats. Diamondhead home sales from January 1st through April 30th, the first quarter of this year, we have sold 119 single-family homes, sold 18 condos, sold 6 townhouses, total of 143 properties in 4 months. The sales that we had from January 1st, 2020 to April 30th, 2020, so this is the first quarter of last year, we sold 85 single family compared to 119 this past. We sold 15 condos compared to 18, sold 2 townhouses. So last quarter in 2020, first quarter in 2020, we sold 102 units. This time we sold 143. Total sales in the year of 2020. Single family, we sold 291 single families in 2020, 59 condos, 11 townhouses, for a total of 361 units. Now, if you take a look at what we've done so far this first quarter, multiply it by 4, it's going to be over 500 units, but we don't have enough houses to make that. So the demand is much higher than the inventory. So now is the time to sell your house if you have somewhere to go. Okay, yeah. So call Hall. The lots. There's been a lot of action on lots. Currently for sale, we've got 106 lots. They're priced from $3,000 to $150,000. Many of those are the People's Bank lots that are the lower priced ones. Last month we only sold 7 lots, but we have 80 that are pending and 11 that are under contract. So that's 91 lots that will close. So the builders are out there, the investors have come in. So there's a lot of people looking at Diamondhead. So values are going up, traffic is going up, but it's like I said, it's a good time to sell if you want to move back home. And that's all my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the update.
Thank you.
All right. And now we're going to move on to Mr. Michael Russo, the city manager's report.
Just an update on the comprehensive plan. The draft of the new comprehensive plan has been available for several weeks online on the Envision Diamondhead 2040 website for our residents to go and review. There was a public presentation held in council chambers last Thursday, which we had a good showing of residents participate. Public comments are now being received via that website, so residents can put in their comments before the final version is sent to the council for approval, hopefully sometime in the next 30 to 60 days. Prearranged contracts for disasters. Now that we've secured the prearranged contract for disaster recovery consultant, our next step will be to advertise for the RFQ for debris monitor and debris removal contractors to get those services prearranged. Rostan has prepared our RFQ documents. We are reviewing those, and we hope to have those on the agenda for the council at next meeting. It is time for the FY22 budget. We are starting to work on that. On the agenda for tonight, we do have a calendar of meetings and our plan for presenting that to the council over the next several months. Makiki Drainage Project, I'm asking for authorization to sign a new work assignment with Pickering Engineering for a drainage problem we're having on Makiki. During the last heavy rain event in April, which we all remember, April showers, there was several homes that experienced flooding in the rear of their yards. They have complained about it for a while. There's basically no drainage ditch in the back of the property, so it's holding water. One of the houses did have water enter the property from the back patio. So we want to go ahead and hire our engineer to take a look at this and make a recommendation back to the council on some ways that we can maybe make some improvements there. On the agenda also, there's a coastal AE zone item. The administrator is asking for authorization to schedule a public hearing to consider elimination of coastal AE zones in the flood damage prevention ordinance. Basically, the city voluntarily added more restrictive building requirements on the south side in the AE zone. In short, part of the AE zone is treated as if it's in the velocity zone. That map over there with the orange kind of gives you an idea. I think Mr. Rich put that up. You can kind of see the blue. The dark blue is the velocity zone, the green is your AE. So basically those orange dots represent a line that everything up to that has to be considered velocity. So that impacts what has to be done for building, which puts more restrictions. So it's voluntarily, the city gets no benefit from it, the residents get no benefit from it. So we're asking to remove that and have a public hearing on that. Lily Pond and the Diamondhead Drive East Pond. Just to give y'all an update on that, we've hired Pickering Engineering to begin doing some survey work and get a recommendation or plan for us to dredge those two ponds. We are kind of, I'm going to call it on back order with survey work. Everything's just backlogged. So that's still on our plans. We're still looking to execute that. We're just really backlogged on survey work. So hopefully that'll be coming. We do have to do permitting on it once the engineers have finished their work. Turnberry Drainage Project, which we haven't talked in a while, but we've been kind of holding off on Turnberry Drainage, really observing the impact of the first phase that we did at the pond and the weir. And things have been working up until April when we got a very large rain event. Water did back up again at Turnberry Way, which is what the engineers told us would happen in a large rain event. I am meeting with Covington Engineer next week to begin having more discussions on our next steps there, and hopefully we'll have some solutions to you guys shortly. Hazard mitigation grant, we are asking for authorization to submit a notice of intent for a MEMA hazard mitigation grant for the purpose of purchasing an outdoor emergency warning siren system in the amount of $200,000 and a portable generator and lights for about $70,000. Rostan Solutions is assisting us with that application. And finally, Kyle with Rostan Solution is present tonight. will be available to speak on agenda items that are related to FEMA, Hurricane Zeta cleanup, worksheets, things like that. So when we get to those items, we can call on him. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Russo. Any questions to my left? Any to my right? I'm going to bring up, and I think a lot of residents sitting out there tonight want to hear about this. We've had a lot, I know I have, and I feel confident people sitting to the left and to the right of me have had numerous questions on the non-binding advisory referendum. So non-binding, first of all, some people are confused on what that even means, non-binding. So we need to somehow get the information out to the residents. There are several questions. I've got 10 emails that I need to answer. I feel sure that you probably get flocked all day. So we all get phone calls, emails, and information. Questions are like, will we save money? What is a non-bonding referendum? Why is it on the agenda at this point? Why is it on the ballot in 2021? Is this a hostile takeover? No, this was a non-bonding referendum asking for an advisory question. Would you like us to look into this? Well, there are so many questions, and the residents need answers. So I am going to add to the agenda on 14A, under the action agenda, a motion to authorize city manager to publish answers and questions and information in regards to the non-binding referendums. And could I get a motion to amend the agenda as requested?
I'll move.
Could I get a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And there are many, many questions. I know that you all have received. The city clerk gets a phone call at least every hour. So we need to get this information out to the residents, have it on the website, make it very easy. Some folks are just Facebook driven, so we need to do Facebook, website, get the information out. Then I've received a lot of questions about, well, why hasn't the city bought yes signs? Like you see no signs. Right, my thoughts exactly, yeah. So we were advised, and I'm not sure who spoke to the state auditor's office, would somebody over on this side that would like to elaborate on why the city has not spent $1 on this referendum. We have not spent any money on this referendum. So why have we not?
I did speak to the state auditor's office. I spoke to the attorney general's office as well, and it is a question that keeps coming up: is why is the city not advertising? Why is the city not lobbying for this referendum? The opinion that I got, the opinion that I share with the folks that I have spoken with, is that it would be a misappropriation of funds for the city to do that. So, my recommendation would be that with the city not expend funds, not have employees do work during business hours on this referendum. The city should not spend money on yard signs, radio ads, mail-outs, that type of thing. And I stand by that recommendation. And the council's not asked the administration to do those things. And so that's where I'm at on it. Pretty clear.
And we haven't. The information that we want to put out is specific answers to the questions that are being asked. It isn't to promote either way or to influence the election in any way. Do you feel that we need to get an attorney general's opinion in writing?
We've talked about it, and the AG's office, the turnaround, we could ask for an expedited opinion on it. We could talk to the auditor as well. I don't know that we'd get an answer in time for the election. So, on the side of caution, y'all will remember when we had our special election and we couldn't get an answer in writing because of the short turnaround and because of the topic involved. And so that's why we've made the inquiries. And if you all would like a more formal inquiry and try to get an expedited answer in writing, we certainly can do that. I just don't know that we'll get anything back in writing in time. But I'm comfortable with our position in the city not expending funds on an election. So,
All right, I think we should lean toward getting that, if you could work that in your schedule.
absolutely.
All right, any other questions for the city manager? Okay. Where did I move my agenda? Now we're moving on to the public hearing. Could I get a motion to open the public hearing for proposed, and I missed public comments, so. I did.
You want to go into the public hearing and then we'll.
Well, I
ask
have, can I do public comments
Oh, I'm
first?
sorry.
Because
Your
this
public
is on
comments. I thought you were
agenda.
talking about the-
Did we have public comment? I'm sorry.
Lots of comments.
I'm sorry, Mr. Lyons. I messed you up. Do we have any public comments on an agenda item? Okay, so the TIF will be under the public hearing, and the other two were for that are not an agenda item for and I'm assuming the petition is for the referendum? No? Okay, we're gonna discuss that in a little while, Ms. Longnecker. Okay, so these ones that we have here are non-agenda items? Okay, all right. Well, Mr. Lawrence Lyons, you can come back up. I do apologize. Could I get a motion to open the public hearing for proposed tax increment financing for the medical center project?
Move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
I second.
Second made by Councilwoman Morgan. All in favor?
Aye.
So I had a fabulous dinner in Diamondhead tonight. I had too much of that dinner, and had there been a lazy boy here, I would be asleep now. So
We're glad you
my
enjoyed it.
apologies. So we tonight, just to sort of where are we in the process, I wanted to let everyone know that the county did adopt their version of this plan yesterday, 5-0. So they're finished with their part of it, other than the interlocal agreement that we'll talk about in a minute. So we have presented a work plan with you. We had an informal session where we talked about the project. You adopted a resolution a few weeks ago that's set tonight as the public hearing, and you authorized the clerk to advertise. Ms. Klein has proof of publication. That advertisement did go out on April 21st. And so the purpose of tonight is for anybody in the public who came in and read the plan, which has been in her office for about 40 days now, or somebody's office. If anybody has any comments to provide you as it relates to the plan. So that's the purpose of the public hearing. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, see if there's anybody here that
All
wants to
right,
talk about it.
thank you. First call for anyone that would like to address the public hearing in regards to the proposed tax increment financing for the Diamondhead Medical Center facility. First, we have Ms. Penny Crawford.
Thank you. I would like to understand more about the tax plan, the increment plan. I'd like to understand it more thoroughly. Unfortunately, I didn't come to your office and look at the plan, but today when I was reading your agenda, because I guess I'm behind on everything, I noticed that the first thing we're going to have when they build this is a pharmacy. And I thought, wait a minute, unless I missed something, we already have two of those. Now, we only have 8,000 or 9,000 people living here, and we already have two pharmacies here, and we're going to build a third one, and we're going to give them tax support, is what it sounds like to me. And I don't approve of that. That's my tax dollars. I don't approve of that. And I don't understand why we want to put another business out of business, which I can't imagine how those two pharmacies can survive with a Love's here too. We're going to put one of our businesses out of business, lose jobs to get 5 to 7 permanent jobs at a Love's. And initially, when we saw the clearing taking place on East Aloha, we were told it was a medical facility. Well, that's very exciting. You know, medical facilities are supportive. They provide jobs. They're long-term. They're not like a dress store. I think it's wonderful, and I was very excited about that. And yet now it sounds like, well, maybe we'll get the medical thing if we give them a cut. If we give them some kind of a break on their taxes. Well, have any of y'all gotten a medical bill lately? They don't need a cut. They don't need a break. My husband just recently got some tests at Tulane. only costs $33,000 just to use the clinic. Just you, that's not the doctor, that's not anybody else, $33,000. Okay, so I don't think a medical place needs a break. I think they got all the breaks they need. And that's coming out of my wallet and your wallet. So I'm very unhappy about the idea that the first thing we get is a pharmacy competing with two pharmacies that are only a block away each. And we want businesses, we want tax dollars here, we want income here, some of us want growth, some of us think we already have enough, but businesses we need services. I don't think a third pharmacy is the service I need. And I think it's a competition for what we already have. So I'm really unhappy about the way this process is going, and I can see that it's going forward because instead of wood, the steel beams are already there. So the structure is already getting ready to be built. You know, they hadn't poured the concrete, but the structure's getting ready to get started. And I just feel like somehow we've been a little bit misled, and this tax break that we're going to give them maybe is inappropriate, you know, in this particular situation. And maybe a little thought, I'm sure I'm too late to even voice this opinion about it, but a pharmacy, when you have two in a town of 8,000 or 9,000 people, is not a working deal. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Crawford. Second call, any comments on the TIF funding? Third call, any comments on the TIF funding? And I'm going to ask Mr. Lawrence Lyons to come back up because talking about the medical facility, this is a medical facility, and one of the things that I am very excited about is the infusion center. This will be the first time in the history of Hancock County to have an infusion center located north of I-10 for residents in Hancock County. If you have any type of cancer or illness that requires infusions and you have to drive to Memorial Hospital and back, let me tell you, that's not a pleasant drive, and sometimes you can't make it. You have to pull over and stop. If you live a life that you don't have to have medical, you know, I'm not one of the lucky people that don't have, you know, medical issues. I live a life where the medical field is very important. Many residents I saw from Hancock County, Diamondhead, sitting in that infusion center at Memorial. Majority I knew. So to have this facility where you could get chemo treatments or infusion right here in Diamondhead is remarkable. To have the 55 to 65 physicians in and out of Diamondhead, specialties we've never had in this county here in our city is unbelievable, and we can't thank you all enough for coming. But I want you, because we want to talk about the Love's Pharmacy.
Yeah, I want to talk about
yes.
also I think she doesn't have the information as it relates to the taxes. There's no public tax dollars, the general public's tax dollars going into this project whatsoever. The pharmacy, and the developers here can talk maybe more in detail, but the pharmacy, the primary pharmacy in this facility is a compounding pharmacy for cancer medication, and it requires a pretty significant investment in terms of the facility that they have to compound within, with negative pressure rooms and temperature control, and there's all kinds of equipment involved in it. So it's not a retail pharmacy the way you would think of a retail pharmacy. There is a retail pharmacy that will be a part of this, the Love's Pharmacy as well. But the primary facility is a medical facility for Memorial Hospital, and I think you spoke to it very well. So just quickly, what is a tax increment finance plan? I think we need to readdress that real quickly. What a tax increment finance plan is this project requires public infrastructure that's defined by the state statute, where to make this project financially feasible, the developer can come to the city and say, hey, we need sewer and water, gas, sidewalk, things that cities generally provide in services, but because this is in an undeveloped area where those facilities are not available, city doesn't just have money sitting in its bank account hoping a developer comes along and say, yeah, we got $1 million here, we'll be glad to go build your sewer line. So the purpose of a tax increment finance plan is to say to the developer, you build that public infrastructure at your expense and at your risk, and you build your building that we are going to allow through a permitting process and inspection, et cetera. And when the project's completed, which means the county assessor came in and assessed the project and it's now on the books, and the city issued a certificate of occupancy, that is what triggers the developer's ability to come back to the city under this TIF plan, which is what authorizes it, and say, here's all my receipts that I spent on the street and the intersection and the sewer line and the water line. And the city, in turn, has pledged, along with the county, a portion of the increase in ad valorem taxes and or sales tax that's associated with that project, taxes that are not being received today. So the raw land out there that's getting ad valorem tax now, none of those tax dollars can be used in a TIF plan. No school taxes can be used in a TIF plan. So this is new taxes that are being created as a result of this project being built. Those taxes have been pledged under the TIF plan, a portion of those taxes, towards a debt instrument or a TIF bond. And so the city, to the best of its ability, once this project's done and they've turned in the receipts and the bond attorney has qualified all those expenses, the bond attorney then will go out to the market and try to sell that bond. There's no guarantee from the city to the developer that they can sell the bond. So the developer may have to worry about that on their own. It's their risk that they're taking. If the city's able to issue a bond, the money comes into the city's bank account. The first thing the city will do is reimburse itself for any and all expenses it incurred. Not one penny of general fund money can be used in a TIF plan. The same as the county. So I told the county they spent $100 on their public hearing ad, or whatever the cost was. I told them, keep that, turn it over to the city when the bonds are sold so that they can get reimbursed for their $100. The bond attorney's fees, any other costs, ancillary costs, legal costs, all of those things come out of that bond first. Whatever the balance of the money is, the developer will come in, the city will give them that check, and the developer in turn will sign over ownership, titleship, rights of way, easements, whatever the infrastructure is and how it applies. The bond attorney will create conveyance documents where they're giving it to the city. So effectively, you're using the developer's money to build public infrastructure, and you're reimbursing the developer with taxes that are created as a result of the project. No other dollars can go into it. So I hope that helped address a lot of what you were concerned about, because that's exactly what a TIF plan is. There's really no downside to a TIF plan, and there is no adversity. As it relates to competition, it's a capital market. I promise you they're not spending millions of dollars building something that can't be viable. There's no business in today's world where you go into a town to build something just to put somebody else out of business. It just doesn't work. It used to be that way in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That was the way economics occurred. Today, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. If you can't build a definitive market, you're not going to come into that marketplace. There's too many opportunities elsewhere. So I could assure you a lot of due diligence has gone in this project. I think, Rick, you may tell with how much time you've been working on this project. About 3 years. It started out as a $2.5 million project, and it's steady gone up to $5 million now. It's not been financially feasible. That's why it's not been able to go forward, and it's been really a struggle. This TIF plan is what's made this project possible, and it's a really good story for Hancock County and Diamondhead for sure. So the only thing else I wanted to say, so y'all are aware of what's going on, your bond attorney will have that security reimbursement agreement that was on the agenda under number 13. We didn't quite get it done. It's a very simple agreement. It's what you require of the developer before they can come forward with their receipts and say, I want to get reimbursed. So that's where you'll stipulate your conditions. He'll write that up on your behalf. Your board will vote for you to execute it, and then hopefully Mr. Marshall will agree and he'll countersign it, and that's taken care of. He'll also write an interlocal agreement for the city and the county to work together on an economic development project. It's a pretty standard interlocal agreement. It goes to the Attorney General to be approved, and then it's filed with the Secretary of State. When that's finished, you're basically looking to the developer, go build your project. If he doesn't build it, you have no cost other than the cost of the ad for tonight's hearing. You can send the bill to Mr. Marshall. He has to pay that back to the city. But hopefully he will succeed. He's obviously moving forward. And hopefully we'll have a great ribbon cutting, and you'll see the economic spinoff, which is really what I think you're looking for. And based on what he just told me, his phone is ringing. There's other people that want to be near a new medical facility. They don't necessarily need anything like a TIF plan because he's bringing the infrastructure there. So they now can tap into it. And to me, that is the pure definition of economic development. That's all I got to say. Unless there's any other questions.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons. We have one question.
Maybe you're not the right guy to ask. Is there a projected date when this ribbon cutting is projected for?
August of next year, right? There's a deadline? May. Oh, May.
April, May.
All right. Did you want to just come up on the public hearing?
Yes, I just want to ask one question. This Diamondhead Medical Center, is this going to be strictly an oncology center, or is it going to contain multiple medical disciplines?
Very good question. Mr. Marshall, would you like to elaborate?
It will be multiple. The family clinic, walk-in, it'll be X-ray, CT scan, cancer, procedures, small out-of-office procedures, that sort of thing. So it will be, it's almost 18,000 square feet. It's almost a hospital without beds. That's what it is.
Okay, you're not addressing the issue, though. The issue is, when I say it's gonna be a real medical center, is it gonna contain multiple disciplines, multiple doctors of various specialties?
Yes.
That's multiple
Yes.
disciplines.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall, and thank you for investing in Diamondhead. We greatly appreciate it. With that being said, could I get a motion to close the public hearing for the proposed tax increment financing for the Diamondhead Medical Center project?
Move.
Motion to close made by Councilman LaCour. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2021-135, a motion to adopt Resolution 2021-024, thereby determining the necessity for invoking the authority granted to the city by the legislature with respect to tax increment financing as set forth in Chapter 45 of Title 21, Mississippi Code 1972, as amended, determining the Diamondhead Medical Center project is eligible for tax increment financing under the laws of the state, that a public hearing be conducted in connection with the tax increment financing and other related purposes. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman LaCour. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Morgan. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City Clerk, Ms. Simone?
How do you vote? Ward 1?
Yes.
Ward 3?
Yes.
Ward 4?
Yes.
At large?
Yes.
Mayor?
Yes.
Thank you.
And Mayor, point of order, we skipped the minutes.
I'm getting to him now, but thank you.
Did somebody already tell
I
you?
got all shook up when Mr. Lawrence stood up.
Oh,
I'm
it's-
like,
he'll do.
that's okay. We greatly
He'll do that.
appreciate you. Okay, with that being said, could I get a motion to approve the April 20th, 2021 regular meeting minutes?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilman Morgan.
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oh, Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Can I just take a second?
Yes, sir.
Is this on? This is on, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I just really want to thank each of you for adopting this and making it possible for this project to be a reality. When we started this project, it was in the neighborhood of about $2.5 million. Today, we're going to be over $4.5 million. So I understand what Councilman Finley was saying about the materials being cost going up and so forth. And this is a perfect example that this project never would have come to fruition without this public and private marriage, the process that you put together. And that's what makes the TIF program so viable for a city and private enterprise to come out and to make this thing work. And like Lawrence had already mentioned, we're already seeing other businesses contact us and wanting to be a part of the development that we're doing over there. So this is really just the tip of the iceberg. And I want to thank each of you. And the tax base in Diamondhead will grow substantially from this for your cities, your school, and all the things that you need those tax for. So thank you again very much. I appreciate all of you. And thank you to the citizens and to the folks here, over here, Michael, and all of you guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Marshall. And again, thank you for investing in Diamondhead. Could I get a motion to approve consent agenda, items 3 through 6?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Action agenda items 2021-136. Motion to concur with the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission and thereby to change the current zoning district classification from PRF, Public Facilities and Recreation District, to R1, Low Density Single Family Residential District, in accordance with zoning ordinance Article 2.8 for the purpose of constructing a single-family resident. The property address is 7448 Turnberry Drive. The tax parcel number is 068R-1-41-071.000. The legal description is Glen Eagle Phase 1, Lot 48, less 8 feet. The case file number is 202100017. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman LaCour. Could I get a
I
second?
second it.
Second made by Councilwoman Morgan. And I'm going to open up discussion with Mr. Jeff Jasby.
Thank you, Mayor DePrio and board members. The only question I have, I should have been able to pull a permit back in February, and I've mentioned that there has been some cost of about $5 to $7 grand. I mentioned that in a planning and zoning meeting from February till now. So I just want to know if there's some type of compensation that can be given back to the homeowners, whether it be, building permit or whatever the case may be.
And I'm going to have to defer to legal on that. Can we get back with you on that?
Sure, no
All
problem
right.
at all.
We'll get back with you on
Thank you
that.
so much.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate it.
Jasby. And there's a shortage of homes, as you've heard. Okay, any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor?
Aye.
Action agenda item 2021-137, a motion to authorize the Planning Commission to hold a public hearing to consider elimination of coastal AE zones in the flood damage prevention ordinance number 2012-006, and to authorize legal notice publication. Could I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second? Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? And the only thing that I wanted to mention, this is not something that is required by the National Flood. That's correct. It's not required. It's something that the city put on in addition to, as well as FEMA MEMA. If it's not with the flood, then we're fine. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2021-138, a motion to approve the re-subdivision of Diamondhead Phase 1, Block 5, Unit 6, Lots 1 through 3. The property owner is Bonnie Carey's Magnolia Ridge, LLC, represented by Matthew Evans, managing member. The property address is 8352 Monaho Place. The tax parcel number is 068J241-030.000. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second? Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye. Item number 10 was removed from agenda. 2021-142, motion to rescind action taken on April 6, 2021, whereby discussion not to seek FEMA reimbursement for Hurricane Zeta street damage was made, and further to authorize the administration with Rostan Solution Consultants to pursue reimbursement for any damage to streets resulting in Hurricane Zeta. Could I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark, and I am very excited to see this because this is all I've been talking about since the storm hit. So,
Right. Sure. Hey, Mayor and members of the council, administration. My name is Kyle Jones. I'm the Vice President of Rostan. We, as y'all know, now represent y'all for any FEMA claim or FEMA programmatic issue that would come up. This is obviously, we've only been onboarded for a couple weeks now, and this is, we're very particular in paying attention to the details, and this is an item that, quite frankly, was left off by MEMA and FEMA. Okay, this is something that should have been brought to the city's attention. It was not. This is an easy issue for us to pick up on. It took one 3-hour trip over here with with Mike and the Public Works crew here at Diamondhead to find several issues on 2 streets, one of them being Diamondhead Drive, the other Golf Club Drive, and they were damaged to the roadways, and we have pictures, lat longs, that we can submit to FEMA. We've already teed FEMA up for this. They're expecting it, but it's damage that was caused by the debris trucks. So this is obviously something that we want to pursue. If this item is rescinded and we're able to push forward, I feel very confident that the efforts will be very fruitful for the city, and the total cost that we have already. I have not had a chance yet to get with Jeannie and Mike on this yet, but we're at a little over $17,000 that would have been left off the table.
Excellent. Thank you. Can you just stay there? Because I know we have a few other things. So, then we'll just hit them. So the HMGP Hazard Mitigation Grant Fund projects are projects that are based off of FEMA. When a declared storm comes, certain amount of funding is allocated for every declared storm, and it goes into a hazard mitigation fund. Those funds are used to mitigate so that we can improve, right? So when the next storm comes, we don't have as much damage. So you all are reaching out. Can you tell us about the 2 projects? Because we're very excited about this as well.
Absolutely. So this has been an interesting ride in the short time that we've been onboarded. Again, this is something, and we're obviously, our team, my team, is very passionate about what we do. And we don't like to see local jurisdictions such as Diamondhead not be on the receiving end of certain grant funds like other parts of the state, okay? So part of the process, again, when we got onboarded a couple weeks ago, was reaching out to MEMA, getting the proper documentation in order for us to officially represent y'all and officially communicate with MEMA and also with FEMA. So the HMGP, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program for these 2 specific projects is going, I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's going to be an easy play, okay? We are gonna have to push MEMA not only to do the right thing, but also to give Diamondhead its fair share of the cost. Primarily, what we're going to be going after is Hurricane Zeta costs, because the city had well over $2 million in documented dollars from an obligated project worksheet standpoint in the FEMA Public Assistance Program. So if we are not able, these 2 letters of intent, should they be approved tonight, that we would be submitting, when they go to MEMA, it is not a guarantee that the city will be awarded or selected for further review. It is my intent with Mike and Jeannie and John with the administration to then have a potential meeting with the new MEMA director and pursue what is a different bucket of money under the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program that is statutorily approved through the Stafford Act. It's regulated under the Stafford Act. And it's through the 5% initiative. So the 5% initiative of the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program it gives a lot of leeway to the state agency, the state pass-through agency, which is MEMA, the Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. It gives them leeway to do non-traditional mitigation projects like a generator or like a warning system that they funded in other parts of FEMA Region 4, which is the FEMA region that Mississippi's in. So that would be we have 2 shots here. One is obviously the open letter of intent for Hurricane Zeta, and the other one is requesting, it would be a special request that would have to have action by the council to ask for funding from the 5% state bucket.
All right. Well, thank you. And on that, we've been trying to get the portable generators with the lights. Back after Katrina, we had gotten 12 for the county and 2 utility districts, and those are the ones that we're very excited about. But the sirens, the 2 that are picked that you have selected are also, they work with voice. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's my understanding.
So we can announce things on them loud and let people know if there's a tornado coming or warning signs. One time we had an accident on I-10 with an 18-wheeler that we needed to let people know. So these are things that we can do with the sirens. Not only is it for natural disasters, but it can be used in all emergency circumstances.
Absolutely. Natural and man-made.
And the other item on the agenda, I see we were denied for our commercial debris pickup. So you're going to write us a lovely letter of appeal saying why we should get it.
So this is obviously a thorn in my side because I have seen in the tenure of my career, I've been doing this. This is my, believe it or not, 18th year doing this and only this. I have never seen, and I was telling the administration this, I've never seen a city with as much backup documentation and as much records that they actually have. The communication that took place with Mike and Jeannie and John, with MEMA again, and also with FEMA, they actually followed the process, and y'all are getting dinged for it.
Right.
And I hate to see that. So that's obviously why I have made the recommendation that we pursue it. Also, we have a lot of, there are 10 FEMA regions throughout the country. We represent clients in 7 of the 10. So we have visibility that on certain projects that have been approved that MEMA might not necessarily have the perspective on, okay? And we had a little I'll call it a come to Jesus with MEMA, with the public assistance chief, Mike Seiler with MEMA. He was receptive to what we were saying, but my comments to Mike were, you know, just because y'all haven't done this before doesn't make it ineligible. Y'all, the city followed the processes. There are processes, there are legalities and rules and regulations to follow. The city followed it. It is going to be a low-cost effort on our end. It's already being absorbed under our effective task order, so it's not an additional cost to the city. And I feel strongly that we'll at least have a voice. We'll at least have the process for the next time, because this commercial debris issue is something that y'all are going to have every season, potentially. So it's obviously something we want to shake out and iron out the details now, and not, you know, playing Monday morning quarterback with. But I feel strong that we'll at least have a voice heard. This is obviously just the first go at it. There are several parts of an appeal. Okay, you have your first appeal, which is essentially FEMA grading its own work. Okay. So the outcome, I want to be very clear, is probably, based on experience, not going to be favorable, because again, it's like the teacher's assistant being graded by the teacher. They're probably going to side with the teacher assistant. So we do have recourse after that. One that I would recommend, and it's really low cost because of the virtual environment that we're in, is arbitration with the U.S. Civilian Board of Contractors in Washington, but that is a virtual hearing with a federal appellate judge. And we've had good success with that process as well.
Well, hopefully we can get it resolved before we get to
Absolutely.
that level. Well, thank you. Any questions to my
Colin,
left?
can you just tell me approximately what is the dollar amount that we're talking about?
For the cost to put the appeal together, or for the total commercial debris?
Total commercial debris.
It's a little over $73,000.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions to my right? Thank you, Carl. We're excited. All 3 of these are very exciting.
Excellent.
And you're moving fast. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 2021-143, motion to authorize administration to in coordination with Rostan Solution Consultants to appeal FEMA's disapproval of the city's request for disaster debris removal from commercial properties, project number 172669. Could I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion number 13 has been tabled. Motion number 14, 2021-146, motion to approve submission of notice of intent to FEMA for hazard mitigation grant program funding for an outdoor emergency warning siren system in the amount of $200,000 and portable generator and lights in the amount of $70,000. Could I get a motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman LaCour. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye. 14A, motion to authorize city manager to publish answers to question and other important information in regards to the 2 non-bonding referendums. Could I get a motion?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman LaCour. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right?
I do. One more time, we're authorizing city manager to,
Questions like, what are the non-bonding referendums? Ms. Longnecker just asked that question.
how are we gonna, who's gonna discern which questions we answer and how we publish them?
I would think that the city clerk gets numerous questions, the city manager. People are calling into City Hall, so they will be the two that get the questions and answer the questions. And if we need be, we can pass them by the council in an email prior to putting them published.
Well, I just, it has to be on somebody's mind, if not only mine. There's a way, with the questions answered, the questions that are asked and the way that they are answered, that could be, one might look at it one way and one might look at it the other.
And the questions need to be answered in no way to influence the election, because as we just heard by our legal, that would be illegal per the Mississippi Attorney General. So the questions need to be answered with direct answers.
Sure. And not just
informative answers. The key word here is informative.
Well, and again, who's going to decide who is going to
We can let
pick the questions which we answer?
And I'm assuming all the questions that come in we're going to answer. And we can have our legal review each of the answers to make sure that they're not in any way to get the city in trouble and promoting either way.
That's
if
fair.
That's okay.
That's fine with me.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Now moving on to a motion to approve the docket of claims DKT 158373 and DKT 158407 in the amount of $107,420.47. Could I get a motion?
I'm so moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could I get a motion? We have no department reports. Okay, non-agenda items. So, Ms. Longnecker, did you want to come up?
Actually, I probably could stay at home right here. You guys are doing an absolutely wonderful job. I have no complaint. Except, is there any way that you can have the POA clean up their mess across the street, which they call the maintenance yard for the golf course? It's terrible. They have spilled poison out, killed all the trees. Trees blew down during the storm. Nothing has really been cleaned up over there. We found a dead deer the other day from drinking some of the water that they wash their vehicles. They have no wash rack, so that poison goes down into the ditch and all the way out into the Gulf of Mexico from Diamondhead here, because they don't have a wash stand for washing their equipment from the golf course. And it is such a mess. And nobody that has lived as long in Diamondhead as I have, since 1971, Dick Nolan was, and Betsy were friends of ours from the very beginning. And I've always been a good neighbor. I want nothing the best for Diamondhead because I love living here. I still love living here because of all the trees. I hate to see them cut down the trees. But really, what bugs me is they have no concern whatsoever for destroying property value by doing what they're doing across the street from where we live.
Thank you, Ms. Longnecker. Mr. Jasby, you are fine with your comments? Okay. And, Ms. Fargo, you're good? Oh, can you come up to the podium? Okay. Okay.
Lisa Vergano. Hi, everybody. The questions that I have is just regarding the consolidation of the Diamondhead Sewer and Water and the fire department with the city taking over possibility, yes or no? What I need to know is what will the tax increase be if the city takes over the Diamondhead Sewer and Water / Fire Department? And I need to know, the second question, can we get a fact sheet, example, pros and cons of this situation? All I have heard are people's opinions, and I don't want to make my yes or no decision based on somebody's decision. I want facts. I'm a facts person.
Very well stated, Ms. Pagano.
Thank you.
And we're going to work on that. Your point is very well received, and we apologize we have not moved on it first. But pros and cons, and you got her other comment on, okay. Those will be answered on the city's website. We will e-blast, and we will put on Facebook. Thank you, Ms. Pagano.
I
All
would
right,
comment,
now we,
the forecasted financial statement has
Mhm.
those projections
on.
in what it would look like for the fire district to be consolidated
Mhm.
in, and what the savings and all that kind of stuff is.
And maybe if
Those
we
are
put all
detailed.
this in one area, it'll be easier for the residents to be able to find it. The consolidated financial that the CPA did has it on there, is what the city manager was saying. But it'll be easier if we put it in one area where you can just click, have it. Okay? Thank you, Mr. Russo.
Could you elaborate on, I get a lot of people asking me, or don't really know, that they think this vote no, putting out there, they think it's for both of them combined, where it's actually, one is for the fire department, yes or no, and one is yes or no for the Diamondhead Water and Sewer. And it's actually two different, votes for the residents. And also that is just, you touched on it earlier about it can just to see if the city wants to consider something like, if the residents, as a majority, would like to see the city either go this way or that way with it.
That probably needs to be the first question, Mr. Russo. Are these two separate referendums? You know, we have to start at the beginning. Yes, they are. And they're non-binding. This does not mean if yes or no is approved that, yes, consolidation takes place. No, that begins the discussion of it. It's not that it is approving consolidation, but these are why we need to get these questions out there, because we're being misled and there's a lot of information out. So you need to know, you need to be informed. Okay. They are confusing.
I would
Okay.
also state that the sample ballot is available online under elections on our website, so they can actually see what the actual ballot will be for the municipal election in June.
Which has the two referendums on it, the sample ballot. So maybe we could put the sample ballot too with all these questions that we have. Thank you, Councilman Clark. That was a very good point, because I think many people think it's one referendum.
I get asked all day.
I know, they do, see? They do. There's several people saying they do, and it's two separate referendums. Okay, now we have Ms. Joy Danella.
Can I hand this to you?
Yes, ma'am.
That is a petition that a few of us had drawn up to see about getting an emergency environmental assessment done. In my opinion, there's an old saying that says, too much of a good thing is a bad thing. We have taken 10 square miles of land and we have overbuilt it to the point that it is causing extreme environmental problems. I know this because my family was recently diagnosed after a year and a half of trying to figure out what was causing my family to be so sick. I am now on my second home in Diamondhead to fall completely into the ground due to lack of drainage issues, which I see that you were willing to address for someone else, but you weren't willing to come out and check for me. I have stormwater that every time it rains is now entering my garage, and I have what can only be considered gas literally trapped in my ditch in my front yard. Yet none of you took the time to come see or be bothered with it. So I took the time to draw up the petition to force you into possibly doing some sort of environmental assessment.
All right. Well, we'll read this and we will get back to you, Ms. Danella. Thank you. And I'm going to turn this over to one of these, to our legal, Mr. Russo. We could pass. Council, Mr. Derek Cusick, is there any need for executive session?
Not tonight.
Not tonight, okay. Could I get a motion? Is there any further business? I do want to say one thing. Congratulations to Councilman Moran. He's not here tonight. He was married on Saturday night. So Mr. Moran has a bride and they're off on a honeymoon. Don't know where, but I got a text, I'm on my honeymoon. I will not be there tonight. So congratulations to Councilman Moran. Also, the two candidates for at-large are in the room right now. They will be at the ward meeting on May 8th at 9 o'clock right in the activity room. They will have 5 minutes to discuss their platform. After the meeting, they're invited to stay to meet and greet with the residents and discuss their plans and views and visions. So if you want to meet the candidates, get up at 9. We don't have coffee yet, but we're moving past the COVID thing. So next month we'll get back to coffee and donuts. You can bring your coffee in there if you want. All right,
It's at 9 o'clock?
it's 9.
9 o'clock. May
9
8th.
o'clock. Early. It's early Saturday. And then we have the red beans and rice cook-off starting at 4 o'clock, $10 to get in and taste 30 samples of red beans. I mean, that is the deal. Okay, could I get one thing, Councilman
One
Clark?
more thing, happy Mother's Day to all you mothers out there.
Yay,
Come
thank
see me
you,
at Rouse's.
Councilman
Send
Clark.
your hubbies to Rouse's.
Thank you. Okay, and don't forget, next Sunday is the dog park, and we need to give a shout out to Public Works because the city of Slidell did lend us the temporary dog park for us to use, and it came in and, you know, we went and picked it up, and Moss Towing delivered it, and then we started unloading it, and I didn't realize the weight of each of those panels, and our Public Works worked out there pretty much an entire day getting it set up, so it's looking beautiful. So shout out to Public Works for getting that done for us. And don't forget the event next Sunday, 1 to 4. With that being said, could I get a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Motion made by Councilwoman Morgan. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by